4 leagues, billions of dollars, millions of fans. But only one can sit on the throne of American sports supremacy. Who's the real MVP here? Is it the NFL with its bone-crushing hits that make you question your life choices? The NBA with baller moves so slick they make ice jealous and buzzer beaters that stop time itself? The MLB with its timeless summer vibes and crack of the bat nostalgia? Or the NHL where skaters fly faster than your Wi-Fi speed and fights break out like a cage match in a corporate boardroom? Spoiler alert, this isn't just a game, it's war. So buckle up, because today we're diving deep into the savage truths behind which league really rules the sports world. Let's start where the eyeballs are glued, the NFL. The Super Bowl is basically the unofficial national holiday that Americans celebrate with way more enthusiasm than Thanksgiving. In 2023, the Super Bowl pulled in over 100 million viewers. Yes, 100 million. That's roughly a third of the entire U.S. population tuning in to watch some guys throw a pigskin around, while simultaneously reminding advertisers how to bankrupt a small country with a single commercial. Meanwhile, the NBA Finals pull around 15 to 20 million viewers per game. Still impressive, sure, but it's like comparing a firework display to a full-scale 4th of July parade. The World Series? It's hanging in there with ratings between 15 and 20 million when the stakes are high. But regular season MLB games? Let's just say you might find more fans at your local library than in some ballparks on a Tuesday night. And the NHL? The Stanley Cup Finals often draw a few million viewers at best. It's niche, it's fierce, but it's definitely not stealing the national spotlight anytime soon. So when it comes to raw eyeballs, the NFL is that monster truck rolling through the town square while the others pedal their bikes in the background. But popularity is just the opening act in this circus, because fandom, that's where things get spicy. You've probably heard the phrase, "It's not just a game, it's a lifestyle." Well, if that's true, NFL fans are living in football stadiums, building sanctuaries out of tailgate grills, jerseys, and fantasy league stats. Sundays are sacred. It's a ritual, a weekly adrenaline shot of adrenaline and carbs. NBA fans, they're the social media mavens, the meme lords, the sneakerheads who treat every dunk like it's a presidential inauguration. From viral dance celebrations to Twitter beefs that get more drama than a reality TV reunion, basketball fandom is a 24/7 party where the scoreboard is only half the story. Baseball fans, they're patient, the Zen masters of sports fandom. Sitting through a 3-hour game is like watching a slow-burn Netflix thriller. You nibble your snacks, soak in the atmosphere, and hope for that one moment that turns it all upside down. It's classic Americana. Nostalgia bottled in a stadium. And hockey fans? Well, they're the cool kids with a rough edge. Hardcore, loyal, and ready to get into a fist fight faster than you can say icing. Their passion is as raw as a slap shot, and their loyalty, unshakable. Stanley Cup celebrations can get so wild you'd swear the ice melts from all the energy. But passion alone doesn't make a league global. That's where star power and worldwide reach come in. The NBA. It's the Michael Jordan of international sports. Thanks to players like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo, the NBA has spread basketball courts to over 200 countries. From Tokyo to Timbuktu, kids are shooting hoops and dreaming of making that highlight reel. The NBA's global footprint is as slick as its players' crossover moves. The NFL is on the rise internationally. London hosts games now, Mexico City's in the rotation, and there's serious chatter about a franchise in Germany. But American football is still largely an American obsession. It's like that exclusive club where outsiders are invited, but they still gotta learn the handshake. Major League Baseball has historic roots in Latin America and Asia. Stars like Shohei Ohtani, the two-way phenom who both pitches and hits like he's cheating, and Fernando Tatis Jr., the flashy shortstop with swag for days, are making baseball a global conversation. But MLB hasn't quite broken through on the global scale the NBA has, mostly because baseball's pace isn't quite as binge-friendly. Hockey? Its icy heart beats strongest in Canada and parts of Europe. It's niche but fiercely passionate there. The NHL's global reach is smaller but mighty in its own right. Okay, enough about reach. Let's talk money, because if sports leagues were companies, they'd all be Fortune 500 giants. NFL rakes in about $20 billion a year. That's a stack so tall it probably needs its own zip code. Fueled by mammoth TV deals with networks that pay a king's ransom, awesome, the NFL is a cash printing machine. Sunday Night Football often dominates primetime slots, crushing competition and your social life. The NBA pulls in around $10 billion but is growing fast. Their savvy embrace of social media, streaming platforms, and international markets means the league is hustling harder than a point guard breaking a full-court press. MLB's revenue is roughly $10 billion too, but it's facing some challenges with an aging fan base and the modern attention span. It's fighting for relevance in an era where 3 hours can feel like a lifetime on TikTok. The NHL clocks in around $5 billion. It's smaller but steady, with die-hard fans and a unique culture that's weathered the storm of changing entertainment trends. Money talks, but culture shapes legacies, and that's where these leagues truly carve their identities. NFL Sundays are like a national holiday. Tailgate grills flame up, beer flows like the Mississippi, and families and friends gather for a ritual that transcends sport. It's about tradition, community, and sometimes just screaming at the TV with your buddies. The NBA doesn't just play basketball, it defines pop culture. Sneakers? Check. Viral dances? Double check. Players like LeBron James are global icons, activists, and even budding Hollywood stars. The NBA influences fashion, music, and social conversations in a way no other league can touch. Baseball? It's the American pastime, the sport you see in movies, history lessons, and those slow summer evenings where time feels a little softer. It's nostalgia wrapped in a glove. Hockey? It's got grit, blue-collar toughness, and a fierce pride that's all about heart and hustle. Now, after all these slam dunks, touchdowns, home runs, and slap shots, who really wins the crown? If you want raw popularity and cash, the NFL's the undisputed champ. If you want global reach and cultural swagger, NBA takes that crown. For pure tradition and timeless stories, MLB's your league. And for raw intensity and die-hard loyalty, NHL's where the heart lives. All right, let's zoom in on the popularity factor, because eyeballs equal power in this game. The NFL is basically the undisputed heavyweight champ here. The Super Bowl, it's not just a football game, it's the biggest single-day sporting event in the world. Picture this: over 100 million people tuning in to watch one game, plus halftime shows that pack more star power than an awards ceremony. To put it into perspective, the combined population of Canada and Mexico is less than the number of people watching the Super Bowl. That's wild. But wait, there's more. The NFL also owns Sunday primetime like a boss. Sunday Night Football consistently crushes ratings, beating out rival TV shows and even major news events on its best nights. The hype leading into these games is unreal. Tailgate parties, fantasy football leagues, memes flooding social media. The whole country basically pauses to watch. Meanwhile, the NBA Finals, while nowhere near the Super Bowl's jaw-dropping numbers, consistently attract between 15 and 20 million viewers per game. That's still huge. Imagine if 20 million people crowded into stadiums simultaneously. Plus, the NBA Finals tend to hold the younger demographics' attention better than any other league, thanks in part to its fast pace and high-flying athleticism. MLB's popularity, on the other hand, is a little more, let's say, classic. The World Series still pulls solid ratings, but the regular season can feel like a slow drip of attention in an age where people have the attention span of a goldfish scrolling TikTok. That said, baseball is still deeply rooted in American culture, with over 75 million people attending games yearly and millions more watching from home. Now, the NHL might fly under the radar for many casual fans, but the Stanley Cup playoffs bring a passionate, if smaller, TV audience. Around 5 million viewers tune in for the Cup Finals, which might pale in comparison to the NFL or NBA, but those fans don't just watch. They bleed their team colors and bring an intensity that's hard to match. So, if popularity is a party, the NFL is throwing the biggest bash with confetti cannons and fireworks, the NBA's got the hip-hop DJ spinning, MLB is the classic jazz ensemble, and the NHL, well, they're the underground punk show everyone secretly loves. But as we know, popularity doesn't always equal passion. All right, fan passion, now this is where things get spicy. Let's start with the NFL fan base. These folks don't just watch football, they live it. Sunday is practically a national holiday. The average NFL fan can recite playbooks, stats, and trash talk with the precision of a seasoned general. And yes, yelling at the TV? Mandatory. Then there's the NBA crowd. Younger, louder, and unapologetically loud. These fans turn basketball games into social media circuses where memes fly faster than a Steph Curry three-pointer. They're fashion trendsetters, sneaker collectors, and part-time analysts who dissect every crossover dribble and slam dunk on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Baseball fans? Patient doesn't even begin to cover it. They're the Zen monks of the sports world, enduring 3+ hour games with a stoic calm, slowly savoring the game like a fine wine. The casual pace means every little moment counts, every home run is a mini celebration, and the tradition runs so deep it's practically part of the American DNA. If MLB fans were music, they'd be classic rock, timeless, loyal, and a little bit nostalgic. Now, hockey fans? Oh, they're the toughest crowd of all. These are the loyalists who don't just support their teams, they defend them like their lives depend on it. The NHL fan experience is intense. The passion runs cold and deep, with fights on ice and cheers that could melt glaciers. If hockey fans were a drink, they'd be an ice-cold whiskey, smooth, strong, and guaranteed to warm you up on a cold night. Passionate fans mean star power, and if a league has got nothing but name recognition, it's just a hollow trophy. Let's see which leagues have the biggest stars lighting up the global stage. First up, the NBA. If sports leagues were celebrities, the NBA would be Beyoncé. It's got the biggest global fan base, partly thanks to the sheer charisma and skill of its players. LeBron James, the king, the global icon who's transcended basketball to become a billionaire businessman, activist, and part-time Hollywood mogul. Steph Curry, the shooter who revolutionized the game with range so deep it feels like cheating. And then there's Giannis Antetokounmpo, aka the Greek Freak, who grew up hustling on the streets of Athens and now dominates courts worldwide. The NBA broadcasts to over 200 countries and territories. Basketball courts are popping up in places you wouldn't expect, from the crowded alleys of Manila to the vast deserts of the Middle East. The league's social media game, next level. They don't just make highlights, they create viral moments that ripple through pop culture like a wildfire. Now, the NFL is a giant in America, but internationally, it's still like that exclusive club with a complicated handshake. The league's been making moves, London games, Mexico City matchups, and talk of a franchise in Germany. But for now, American football is still largely a U.S. obsession, and that's partly because the sport is complicated as heck to learn, with plays and rules that make calculus look like child's play. But hey, the passion at home is unmatched, and the NFL's stars, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers, are household names in the States, even if overseas fans need a football decoder ring. MLB has a rich international flavor, especially in Latin America and Asia. Stars like Shohei Ohtani, who's basically a one-man highlight reel pitching and hitting, and Fernando Tatis Jr., the flashy shortstop with swagger to spare, are pushing baseball's global appeal. The World Baseball Classic has been instrumental in expanding the sport's reach, showcasing talent from across the globe and building bridges between nations with nothing but bats and balls. But while baseball has these international pockets of passion, it still doesn't have NBA-style global saturation. And then there's hockey, the NHL's crown jewel. Its icy grip is strongest in Canada, where hockey is basically a religion, and parts of Europe, where the sport is equally beloved. The league has stars like Connor McDavid and Austin Matthews, who dazzle with speed and skill. But the NHL's global footprint is smaller, yet that smaller size comes with fierce loyalty. The hockey fan base isn't just watching, they're living the sport. From frozen ponds to packed arenas. Star power drives the game, but money fuels the machine. Let's crunch some cold, hard numbers and see who's really cashing in. All right, let's talk money. Because sports leagues aren't just games. They're billion-dollar empires with more cash flowing than a champagne fountain at a celebrity wedding. First up, the NFL, king of the cash castle. The league pulls in roughly $20 billion a year, and that's not chump change. Their TV deals alone are the stuff of legend. In 2023, the NFL inked a new broadcast agreement worth over $110 billion spanning a decade. That's right, networks are practically throwing money at the league to secure Sunday Night Football, primetime games, and of course, the almighty Super Bowl. Advertisers pay premium prices knowing they're reaching tens of millions of viewers simultaneously. Sunday nights aren't just football nights, they're appointment TV on steroids. Now, the NBA clocks in with about $10 billion in annual revenue, but it's growing faster than a rookie superstar's Twitter followers. Why? Because the NBA knows how to hustle. They've embraced streaming, social media, and international markets with gusto, expanding their global footprint. Plus, their audience skews younger and more diverse, making the league a magnet for brands wanting to connect with Gen Z and millennials. When you watch an NBA game, You're not just seeing basketball, you're seeing the future of sports entertainment. MLB's revenue is in the ballpark of $10 billion too, but the league's battling some challenges. Aging demographics, lengthy game times, and competition from quicker, flashier sports make it harder to grab and hold attention. But don't count them out. The league is experimenting with faster-paced games, more digital content, and international outreach to stay relevant. The NHL, while smaller at about $5 billion annually, has a passionate core that keeps the engine running strong. Their deals might not be as flashy, but their fans are fiercely loyal. When it comes to TV ratings, the NFL dominates. Sunday Night Football regularly pulls in 15 to 20 million viewers per game, with the Super Bowl smashing records every year. The NBA Finals draw between 15 and 20 million, holding strong among younger viewers. MLB's World Series ratings vary but can reach up to 15 to 20 million in a good year. NHL playoffs bring in fewer viewers, around 5 million. But those fans watch with intensity. Money talks, but culture whispers and sometimes shouts. Which league really shapes American identity, cultural impact? If the NFL is the nation's Sunday ritual, it's also a giant cultural machine. Football Sundays bring families together, fuel fantasy leagues that destroy friendships, and fill social media feeds with endless hot takes. The NFL isn't just a game, it's a cultural force. The NBA, it's not just about the game, it's a global influencer. From sneaker culture to music collaborations, from viral dances to political activism led by superstar players, the NBA's footprint extends far beyond the hardwood. LeBron James isn't just winning games, he's building schools, speaking out on social justice, and starring in movies. Baseball is America's pastime, steeped in nostalgia and tradition. It's in classic movies, summer memories, and history books. The slow pace mirrors a certain American way of life, patient, enduring, rooted in community. The game has inspired generations of storytellers and remains a symbol of Americana. Hockey, with its gritty blue-collar ethos, reflects a certain toughness and pride. It's a sport of heart and hustle, deeply woven into Canadian culture and northern U.S. states. So, after all the touchdowns, slam dunks, home runs, and slap shots, who really reigns supreme in America's sports kingdom? If you're all about raw popularity and cold, hard cash, the NFL is your undisputed heavyweight champ, ruling Sunday nights like a boss and printing money like it's going out of style. If your vibe is global swagger, cultural clout, and star power that crosses oceans, the NBA's your crown jewel. For those who crave tradition, nostalgia, and the slow, deliberate magic of summer nights, MLB still holds a special place. And if you want raw intensity, grit, and a fan base that bleeds loyalty, the NHL is your league. Smaller in size, but massive in passion, with a unique culture that's tough as ice. But here's the kicker. The real winner is you, the fan. Because this fierce competition means non-stop entertainment, legendary moments, heated debates, and enough content to keep your group chats buzzing for years. So if you like this deep dive into which league really reigns supreme, smash that like button like a buzzer beater at the buzzer, hit subscribe for more sharp, no BS sports takes, and ring that notification bell so you never miss the next big breakdown. Now it's your turn. Drop a comment below and tell me which league has your loyalty: the bone-crunching NFL, the global NBA, the timeless MLB, or the gritty NHL. Let the war of words begin, and may the best league win. This is just the beginning. You in?